Well, hello and welcome to Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah, your medium on the go. And a lot of it's been happening with the Arego Garcia case, the innocent Maryland resident who's being held in a Salvadorian concentration camp. So, this is about. It's about a feeling that I've had that it's been presented by some of my colleagues, is that when I realized that he was alive, because I wasn't too sure about that, thanks to the persistence of his senator Chris von Hollen, who visited him in in El Salvador. So the second thing that occurred to me was, if he is alive, this Bukele, Presidente Bukele, he's all about the money. He's a corrupt, I feel, a corrupt dictator of a banana republic. Of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. So, I think that I wanted to explore the possibility that that Garcia's freedom could be bought. I think I picked up the energy that is what's going on. So the two focus cards, of course, I immediately thought of him. His face is on this in my thumbnail on the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Now, when this baby is upright, it's a very charitable card, and he's got the scales of justice in his hands, and he's not only giving money to these poor people, but probably money for them to get some training or to get some advantage to be able to help themselves. But when we get this in reversed, as with most pentacles, this is pretty much about corruption. One hand washes the other, and people are kind of at the mercy for what they can put into his coffers, and and justice be damned with this in reverse. So, of course, we, the taxpayers, are paying for these people to be imprisoned. And you kind of wonder where that money is going. But okay, so then we have, I feel, again, and not the first or last time that Fotis will come up as the Fool in reverse, being foolish and being duped by this guy. I think this dictator probably turned on the Latin charm, and his English is very good, by the way. Turned on the Latin charm and flattered Fotis to death. So this corrupt person, who I will refer to as Presidente Pendejo. And that's a very slangy, pendejo is a very slangy word in Spanish, which is virtually impossible to translate. Just note, it's very insulting, and it's one of those use your imagination as to what that means. So Presidente Pendejo is, he's playing this, and I want to see with the cards if there's someone had mentioned some wealthy Salvadorians or something like that could be putting up the money to spring him, and that wouldn't. So I'm going to see what the cards say with that. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, I just found out as I was preparing the thumbnail and had some of the news, internet news stuff on. Found out that the DOJ, who she made, Pam Bondi, may be telling them, the attorneys, not to comply with the various circuit judges, appeal judges, and the Supreme Court, that they need to bring forth some facts and come clean as to what they're doing to get him out. And apparently they're saying, I'm not giving up my law license for that. So I would say that these very smart judges do have her and these attorneys by the short ones. So that's very interesting, and that's going to be for another reading, which I will be doing next, about her position as Attorney General. So we've got that going on. So yeah, there was the visit. He seemed to look okay. I was kind of fearing for him once they put him back in that prison. So it's going to be very interesting to see what will happen. So we want to see about the first reading is to see about the possibility of the payoff and who it could be benefiting, or who it could be that's doing that. And then another one on the impact of the senator's visit. And then these last two will be shorter. And then if FOTUS is going to cave. Now, the thing is that I mentioned in a previous reading is that there are, which I hadn't seen any notices yet, but when I got off, when I finished the video and went on to Facebook and looking at, there are going to be demonstrations all over the place. It's kind of like from now until who knows when. If you don't have anything to do and you're lonely and you need to be around a lot of people, there will be a protest near you. So I think that there may even be more people out in the streets. And the thing is, a lot of people have gotten a few days off, or maybe decided to take some extra vacation days, because they'll get Monday. I think they get Monday. They got today off for sure, because it's Good Friday. So they may have taken another day or two off. Holidays are always good to do that, to have a super long weekend. So a lot of people, they don't have anything else to do. So I believe that these could be bigger. And then don't underestimate our European and other countries around the world joining in, because they all think that this is appalling. My friends overseas that I knew at the Arthur Findley's School of Psychic Studies, boy, they really have no use for him, and they have no plans on coming to the United States anytime soon. So tourism is going to take a big hit. So I think that one thing is that there will be demonstrations, and people talk about martial law. I'm not feeling it. I could be wrong. I'm not feeling it. I think maybe they'll make some arrests, but and it depends on what the military is wanting to do too. I don't know if I have to do a reading on that. So he has a tendency, when he feels the hate, as kind of backing down a little bit. So let's see. He's did that in a sense with the tariffs. So and we have not taken our eye off the ball with that either. Okay, so having said all of that, let's see. We want to read on the possibility of a payoff, and who would be making the payoff. I know the anti-Semite Trumpsters will say, "Oh, George Soros," they'll do that, pull that old rabbit out of the hat. Okay, so, let's see. Okay, so I've shuffled these up pretty well. So let's see what the indicating card will be, which is, the Star. Wishing upon a star and manifesting. This is, as you can see, I've covered her up a little bit, so we don't upset the YouTube algorithm. So so then we have the Star, which is a card for the United States. So this is saying that there's a lot of support who knows what fundraisers. I guess a feeling there could be some fundraising that's been going on the QT or something. I don't know. I'd have to, if anybody wants to make a comment, if they've seen anything like that on social media. And then the energy around that. Oh, wow, we cannot make this stuff up. We've got the Page of Pentacles, which is telling me that he is beginning. So I would say there has been a beginning. I feel maybe a bit on the QT of some money collecting. So what this is telling me is that perhaps people in his community are putting their nickels and dimes together. So a lot of this could be from the U.S. contributing into something bigger. So then underlying this we have some, in the past we've had the Page of Cups in reverse. That's emotionally immature. Oh, that's my titty baby card. Okay. So this whole thing of Trump and his minions and getting the DOJ and all this sort of thing together are kind of going into the victimization mode for having been thrown into this position, and having a little baby tantrum, and I'm gonna hold my breath until, instead of saying, oops, my bad, let's just get him back here and move on to something else. Nope. So that's why I think people have decided we cannot go that route. We cannot count on that. So then we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. So this is all about very quick to lie. This is about, which is really pissing people off, to maybe want to contribute to a fund for him. And what this is about is they started making stuff up like really fast. Like, oh, he's a wife beater. Oh, he's a terrorist. Oh, maybe he belongs to that gang. And I think on that Untruth Social thing, he started to just blatantly tell a lie to kind of like justify all of this. And then we have the Nine of Swords, which is kind of like, well, we're not going to worry about it. We're once again going to get away with it, which could be a big mistake. So I think there's been some money. I think people in that community have been putting their nickels and dimes together. I strongly feel. I haven't heard anything of it, but I don't. I watch Midas Touch and all of those things, but the mainstream media is not going to really, unless maybe there's something around Baltimore or something like that going on. So then in the opposing energy, we have Seven of Pentacles. So here we have, I think that there are some people in the DOJ and elsewhere who are having regrets that money has been sent to house him and some of those others, which I really feel is going into Presidente Pendejos Bolsa, into his little bag. So we have the regret, but a lot of them are not courageous. They kind of like want to walk away from it. They don't want to see this poisonous fruit of these months. Not yet. But as the momentum, this is an opposition. So let's see. The conscious thoughts behind all of this is, okay, we have the Fool upright. So I think it's people saying, we're kind of jumping into the unknown. Let's see what money we can raise. Let's see what we can do with it. And it's kind of unknown, but they've got a lawyer for him, and I'll bet you that lawyer is probably working pro bono. So I think it's that, and I think there's some things in that little sack that he has, and we don't know exactly where it's going to go or who it's going to go to, but we're just going to start working and collecting. So that's what his community is thinking on the conscious level. On the subconscious level is like, they really want to complete this cycle. They really want it to be over. And that's a major underlying force. Right now, they're thinking if we get the money, what do we do? Then we'll figure out what we're going to do with it. So it's a desire to, I think it's like this is really the way, I never interpreted it this way, but seeing the world with that circle she's in, and it's, thought of as a portal, I'm going to say the wagons are circled at every end. These are elements of the zodiac, and so the whole subconscious thing is like, we're going to end it, and we're circling the wagons. We don't know quite how we're going to do this, but we're going to be gathering. We're going to be gathering the funds. So, okay, so let's see. In the past, we have the Nine of Cups, and that is it's thought of as a smug merchant, but I'm going to say it's their I think the false sense of security that this community have, because I imagine he probably lives with a lot of people from his own country or Latin Americans, and that I think they know whether they voted for him or not. I think they didn't think it was going to happen with them because they had their papers. So this is what happened in the past. Like, they got a little bit too comfortable. I mean, why not? Why not, really? So what's going on now here is we have the Six of Cups. And that is, that's going back to the past, memories of when things were happier, which tells me that maybe they are starting to move, but they are in a big state of shock and realizing that maybe being in the past and what happened to him, being uprooted from this happy little family, I think he has 2 kids, is that it could happen to anyone. So they're thinking that we cannot be in that space right now. So in the immediate future, what is happening is, the Ten of Swords in reverse. They know they've been stabbed in the back because this wasn't supposed to happen. So before those swords penetrated, they've kind of done a 180, and now they're doing things. So there seems to be some money raising here, but I'm kind of curious if I do feel as though there's some Central American money that they know how this works. So let's see a little bit further future. The Chariot in reverse. As far as them dealing with the Salvadorian government and Presidente Pendejo, they're not going to move forward. This is the thing. They know they're not going to move forward, and this is also a card of negotiations upright. It's like there's no negotiating with him until they show him the dinero. Okay. Show me the money, honey. Okay, so they realize that ordinary ways of moving forward are not going to work. So I think I just kind of got a little revelation from this. I believe that the people down there, the money down there, knows there's no talking to this guy until they show him the money. I think what this tells me is kind of like the silent agreement. This is how things work down there. That's why a lot of those gang members are probably, and some of them aren't gang members. They're poor gang members. They don't have the money to get them out. They deal drugs and all kinds of things, but something tells me that money just goes. So I want to go just a little bit more into the future here. Temperance. Okay, I think what could be working is finding the balance. I would say it's going to be the timing. finding the balance of, and this is where the people down in the rich people down there, how they feel about this is that the timing will be everything. They have to know, it's a very, culturally, they have to know how to present the money in the proper way, and to just sort of like to, it'll be half intuition and half, hard thinking. So I would say that this would be very skillfully and carefully balanced out. So let's see. Hopes and fear time. Hopes and fear. Okay. Justice in reverse is the fear that justice may not be done, but it's also the hope is that it does eventually get done. And that's what I heard some other readers say. They don't see him coming out for a while yet. And of course, that could all be relative. So I think that this is, relevant. I'm thinking that they know that this may take some time, but not only eventually. Oh, this brings a whole other thing. Another thing that may be going on is that these South and Central, these Latin American dictators, they really come and go. I'm old enough to have seen the history, Argentina, Chile, all this stuff. I mean, I was in grade school when Eva Perón bought the farm. And I've seen all of this. Brazil has been back and forth. I mean, they come and then they get deposed. I mean, that's kind of the way it goes. I'm kind of wondering if there may be a revolution that is brewing down there because of all these excesses, and the poverty is like off the charts. Inflation is off the charts. And sometimes in these places, I know that Cuba, way before Castro, they have had revolutions funded by the wealthy, and sometimes they've lived to regret it. And I think Justice in Reverse is saying, the universe is saying there could be a major upheaval. That's something that's been nagging at the back of my mind. So in conclusion of this, we have Three of Swords in reverse. So upright, this is interesting that this would follow. Upright, this is about betrayal, and in the political scene, it is about treason and corruption, and that's what Presidente Pendejo has been all about. So with this in reverse is kind of saying there could be something brewing, that he may be toppled, hopefully replaced by something better. Because I remember back in the 80s, the country's been a mess with there's all that stuff with Reagan and coke dealing and all kinds of stories that came out for entertainment purposes only. It's possible, and I don't really know what's going on there on the inside, but I'm getting a sense that he may be getting ready to be toppled. So this does indicate that there could be possible healing, but since I do believe in free will, it really will be up to the people to not screw this up. So that's what I feel could be the conclusion, and that may be where some money is going, but his release could be a big part of it. That I don't know, it's really wildly for entertainment purposes only, but what could be happening is that there could be a revolution afoot, which is not a big stretch for that part of the world, and that maybe his release, and I would say some of the other people's releases could be part of that. So I think there may be kind of a shifting of some money around. That should be, no one else has brought that up, but that's interesting. That's kind of, it's just one of those hits that I got, that something's been brewing for a while. He's probably been so much enjoying living off the fat of the land, plus the fact that he seems a little bit too comfortable and complacent, and that kind of thing. So and that's, when they get too comfortable, boom, they're riding for a fall. So not so. I'm just putting that out as a possibility. I've been known to be fairly accurate, but I'm also one of these people that's, I'm not infallible either. So that's kind of interesting. So we want to look at the impact of the senator's visit, and I think I'm going to do a shorter version of the last. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm going to change decks here. That Crosby, Stills, and Nash sang change partners. Okay, so yeah, I like to mix those decks up. This will be my main one. Okay, I got to really shuffle this up really good. So yeah, I think this will have an impact. I'm going to see on the state side if people in the legislative branch develop a conscience and really start to apply some pressure. I think that when we get through this whole nightmare, there are going to be some laws made. Definitely going to be some laws made, because I see that now this administration, they're starting to operate from a power of weakness, because I think they're getting outfoxed. They're getting outfoxed by these judges. I think there's opposition they've been grossly underestimating. And then when you have a bunch of junkies and drunks in the cabinet thinking, oh, chaos is good. No, chaos is chaos. And it catches up. It may be effective for a while, but it catches up with you. It catches up with you in the end. And as I've said, what people see as Germany 1934, I'm saying, no, I think they've jumped to Europe in 1944, where they move so fast, and this could all be falling apart. So let's see what the impact of the senator's visit will be. Okay, good. These give us, these smaller ones give me a little bit more room here. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this again so I don't even get a chance. Okay, so we have as our indicator, oh, Ace of Swords. I think a lot of truth is going to come out. This is telling me that although that visit was very sugar-coated, that Senator von Hollen is no idiot. And I think that Garcia probably shot him a few signals. I think he knows that whole thing was pretty much of a sham. And I think the truth is going to come out. I definitely think so. So then the energy crossing that is the Page of Wands, which is a new message. It's a spark. I would say that it is a spark of hope. That is the whole thing. As much as we would have loved to see him take him on the plane, it is a spark of hope. And as I say, Presidente Pendejo's a little bit too confident in this too. So let's see. We'll skip that. So let's see. In opposition of this, we have the Six of Cups, which came up in the other deck. And so that's living in the past. But this is kind of interesting because we always have the kitties playing with the flowers. The mother has called, this is the story of this card. The mother has called the men to say, okay, you've had fun playing with the cards, but now it's time to come in and do your homework before dinner. That's a part of the past that people, we don't like remembering that. So I would say that it's a little bit cynical. I think that the senator may have given a little bit of a show saying, "Oh, beautiful country, yada yada," but I don't think he was fooled, because this is the reality. This little scene here, that's the reality. He saw some of the reality, but maybe played the part of how, thank you, how gracious of you to do this, blah blah blah. So then we have in the past, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. So I'm wondering if there is a female judge in the mix of all of these circuit courts and courts. I've only heard about some of the men. I think in the past there's a it's either that or one of his I think it's okay. This is what they. One of his colleagues, a female in the Senate, who is pretty much into the whole playing hardball, but I think she's kind of keeping since I'm not going to say that she's in the cutting off your head mode like it normally is in reverse. I'm going to say she's just kind of keeping in the shadows for the present time. So I think she knows something. So it'll be interesting to see who that is. So in the present, we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So what this is showing is that I think this senator is a pretty sharp cookie. I think what he's seeing is that the whole money walks, the whole corruption, that he, obviously didn't bring a pile of money to bribe the guy because maybe it isn't time, but really aware that the whole energy is driven by corrupt money. So Presidente Pendejo's pretty young, and so he may, of course, for entertainment purposes, only defy the old saying that only the good die young. But that could be talking about his regime, but who knows. Okay, so then, interesting. So we have the Knight of Swords. The very rapid transmit communication of what's going on. That what this is telling me is that there might be something new happening by the time this video comes out. Tonight there's continuous, but I think he's bringing back a very, very strong message. It keeps telling me that he's going to bring the message of, oh yeah, the guy was nice and charming, but he doesn't fool me. So let's see. So that's the name. Oh, here we go. Justice, upright. I think that the impact of his visit in the not too distant future is about what's going on in the courts, that they may prevail, and that, this is kind of going into my next reading, is that these attorneys may just comply with them and saying, hell no, I'm not going down for her or anybody else, because even if this guy lasts 4 years, what am I going to do after that? If I lose my license, what am I going to do? No. So I think that the courts may move something along, whether with him or without him. So that's interesting. So further down the line, we have here, victory. Victory in that because of what I'm going to see this guy on the horse is the senator, and I see this female is probably, that's the good news that he brought to Garcia's wife, that he looks okay, so far so good, and that I think he set the wheels in motion somehow to get him released. It may not be as soon as we like, but you never know. Things move fast, so maybe when I say, maybe in a while, maybe that's next week. I don't know. I would like to see. So So that the impact is that he could be moving the victory along, and that this affects the court and the whole thing. So let's see, in the hopes and the fears, we have the hope is, okay, the fear is, we'll do the fear first. The fear is that all these corrupt players, Fotis, Presidente Pendejo, and all the other douchebags, that there is the fear that that they're going to be getting away with even more stuff because of what's happened in the courts. But I love this deck, with it being in reverse. But the hope is they're stepping into the trap. This does look like a trap. He puts his foot in that and yank. He goes up a tree or something like that. That's how they trap the animals, the old hunters, the old trappers thing with the thing, and then boom, they get snapped up in it. So what this is telling me is that they see, look how smug he looks and everything. What this tells me is that while he's smug, he's walking into the trap. So that is the hopes and the fears. So the outcome of this thing is the Seven of Pentacles in this deck. That's pretty much about, everybody looking about what a folly this was, and that they planted those seeds and they're in a big mess, and that this just wasn't well thought out, and that this is kind of like the poisonous fruit of the poisonous seeds and the tree. And now he's looking upon that with regret, but what do I do? So I think as a result of the senator visiting, there is going to be more pressure and more regret of having done this. And so now they have to figure out how they're going to get out of this to save some face. Okay, well, which brings us to, I love this when the cards do this, which brings us to the next and the final reading, which will be a even shorter one, which is, will Fotis cave on this? And I would say that I suspect there are going to be a lot of people out in the streets tomorrow. So will Fotis cave? So we're just going to do just a few cards on this to see what will happen. If I need be, I can later on do a more extensive reading on this. But okay, so we will go back to this other deck. I mean, he's walked back. I don't even know folding. It's kind of like, instead of folding, he usually just tippy toes back, and then so he has enough time to make up yet another story about, oh, I really won. Okay, so that will take time, because I think they're getting pressure all the way around, because nobody's buying that story that, oh, well, he really was the gang member. No, they already admitted they admit their mistake, and then he makes up that fairy tale on Truth Social. I mean, come on. Okay, so this will be just a quickie one. Might need these little clarifier guys here. Of course, now when he caves, it may, it could be one of those things. He may want to walk this back to move on to his next catastrophe. So let's see here. I mean, the latest thing was that Marco Rubio announced that they were stepping out of the Ukraine thing. So, he just gives up, and that's not good news. But I guess the bad news is that they're stepping away from Ukraine. Maybe the good news is that he's not going to help Russia. Who know? Who knows? Who knows? This is crazy. It changes moment by moment. Okay, so I'll do the little face down. Okay. The energy, the past, the future, and clarifiers if we need them. Okay, so alrighty, so we have the current energy, which is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is it's the female energy. I'm going to say, I don't know why I want to bring the president of Mexico into this. I don't know why that came to mind. I don't know if there's pressure on that front. That would be I haven't heard of that, but we haven't heard. So I think that it's that, and it's a lot of female warrior energy because, face it, that's the vast majority of people that have the stomach to do this. I don't know if Presidente Scheinbaum is involved in this. Believe me, that one came out of left. So the current energy of that being the Page of Cups in reverse. So we have the titty baby rebelling against mommy. I mean, because she's had to, with all of these people coming up, she's had to kind of manage how we're going to deal with them, while they, on their way to the States to try to get in. So it's been a Mexican thing. It also tells me that it's the identity crisis. How is he going to talk his way out of, how is he going to make himself a winner? How's he going to make himself a winner? So that could be her and maybe some other female world leaders. He's got to be getting world pressure on this. Then in the past we've had the Four of Cups. In the past, it could be just like 5 minutes ago or yesterday. Kind of like contemplating, but just can't, just having a hard time seeing this, and it's all emotional, thinking, oh my God, I'm running out of options. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Then coming up a little bit futuristic, we have, the Two of Cups in reverse. That's kind of like it's a hard meeting of the minds. I think I have to do a clarifier on this. I don't know if he's dealing with Presidente Pendejo, that little bromance could be could that little bromance be breaking up? Okay, let's just see here. Then we have, interesting, because our main card was the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So he's trying to figure out what he can do. Maybe with I think there's, of course, it's always a money deal. Like, how do we make the peasants happy and save face? So he's facing that dilemma because this guy wants to do something, but he doesn't want to pay more money or whatever. I think this is all going to be done out of his hands. That's what this is telling me. And then we have the Sun. And the truth is just absolutely blinding. There's no getting away from it. But the little babies back home, they have to fight over their blankie, But that still doesn't change the fact that the light of what this is saying, he may have to bend. There's some deals being made that that he's going to make it look like it's very charitable. It's going to come across as that, either one or the other. Because when that guy said, when President Pendejo told the senator, he's going back and he's not being released, that's the old cons call for let's make a deal, but it's going to be a hard bargain. When you lived in a druggy neighborhood, like I did in New York, yep. And the Page of Pentacles. Oh, here we got the page. He had the Page of Pentacles offering the money to the little troll in the road. Yep, I'm not going to let you pass until you give me the money. So, he will be asked for money, that he's not necessarily giving it. I think he's going to be asked for money, but I think there's some other money in the offering to spring this guy, maybe to spring some of the others. But he's not going to get it from, he's not going to be making the art of the deal with Presidente Pendejo. Presidente Pendejo, he's holding the cards. I think it's good. I actually think that this is going to come through the back door somehow. And of course, our Presidente Pendejo, he'll find a way to take credit for it, but I think it's going to be the work with other people. And maybe they're saying this situation is so dire, yeah, let him take credit for it. I mean, just remind him of, Kim Kardashian, the last administration, coming to set some people free, and they say, oh, you can do it again and become the hero. So it's not going to be anything that he does with Presidente Pendejo, but I think the people here who will con him pretty well and say, okay, let him take the credit. We just need to get this guy out. So I think that for entertainment purposes only, it's a very likely scenario. Nothing is truly guaranteed, but I think it's a highly likely scenario that it could play out that way. We may not know all the intricacies going on, but I think that we could. I'm fairly hopeful that he may come back, and they know, heaven help, if this guy dies there, they will see stuff on the streets with this guy's face. I mean, he will become the biggest martyr. And I don't know, that'll make George Floyd look like, as I said at a comment on another post, like Easter parade with Judy Garland and Fred Astaire. I mean, it would be, and I think they know it. I do think they do know that. So at any rate, let's keep our fingers crossed and send some good vibes to the Garcia family. So at that, I will say goodbye, and I will be back probably posting a little bit later about Pam Bondi, and we're back to Watergate with the haunted by the ghost of John Mitchell, the infamous Attorney General in the Nixon administration. So I'll say bye-bye.